Good, good afternoon, everyone. So today we are all about the air fryer. And I have to say, I am new to the air fryer. We just got one. But the first week we got it, I pretty much cooked everything in it. I was experimenting. I made burgers. I made homemade French fries. I think I made pork tenderloin, salmon, and cod. So I've really tried to see how everything tasted, and my kids love it. My son especially loves it for heating up his frozen pizza. Yes, I'm a dietitian, and yes, we sometimes have frozen pizza in the house, but if it means he eats a meal versus not eating a meal, I'm all for it. All right, so like I said, today is all about the air fryer. I don't actually have written out recipes today because what we are doing is so easy that it doesn't need print out recipes, but I'm going to be I will tell you everything. I'll try to be as exact as I can, but it's really pretty basic. Just so you know, I have the chat open. So if you have any questions as we're going along, please feel free to pop them into the chat. I can't see Q&A. I don't have access to that in this screen right now. But like I said, I do have the chat open. So I am fine with questions and comments anytime you think of them. So the first thing we're going to do, and this was one of the things that I did in the air fryer. So I have the kind of air fryer, so I'm going to show it to you. Let's lift this guy up here. So I have this kind of air fryer that's like a toaster oven / air fryer because I didn't have a toaster oven either. So I thought that would work. But for us, this is actually the kind you're supposed to be able to flip up, but I find that it's a pain, so I just leave it down all the time. But both of these recipes will work in this type of air fryer or if you have the rounder kind of basket air fryer. So the first thing I want to do is we are going to roast some veggies. That was a big deal for me because I love roasted green beans, cauliflower, broccoli. I love roasted potatoes, whatever. And sometimes I want to cook a meal in the oven and it's at I always roast my veggies at 400. And a lot of times if I'm cooking chicken or pork or something, I don't want to cook it at 400. So I would really have to plan my meals accordingly. I couldn't always have roasted veggies. But now I can roast in this. So I'm going to first turn it on. And I am going to put it to air fry. So hold on, there we go. And set my temperature to 400. There we go. And I'm going to get these going. So what I noticed, I did notice that at least with the green beans, they cooked a lot faster in the air fryer. And that was beneficial. Yeah, if it's too hot outside to have the oven on, yes. So it's awesome. Not only if it's too hot to have the oven on, but say I think of something like last minute and it takes like a second to heat up. So I really, like I said, we just got it like 3 weeks ago, I think, or a month ago. So I'm really excited to use it this summer when I don't have to turn the oven on. All right, so I have, it's not quite a pound of green beans. It's one of those like 12-ounce bags. I will tell you, I do cheat and I get the bag of microwave green beans that are already trimmed. For me, the like 50 cents more that it costs is worth the time saver of not having to wash it and trim it. So anyways, I'm going to take that. So they're all clean. You can trim them and clean them yourself. And I am going to drizzle on, I probably do, let's see, I'm trying, about a tablespoon of olive oil. And then I do, so what is that? Like a 1/2 to 3/4 of a teaspoon of kosher salt. And I sort of sprinkle that all around, put the rest back in the container, and I just get it all coated. So nothing fancy. What I am going to do to this, which I should have done this beforehand, but I forgot. So I love to add peppers and onions when I roast green beans. So again, nothing fancy. I have a red pepper, so take whatever color pepper you prefer. I like the first time I cut a pepper, especially for something like this, I love to sort of just cut the top off and I save all the rest of this part, and then I just sort of make do with all of this. So that way I'm not wasting any. And hopefully, so we've got both of my screens pinned here, spotlighted. So you guys should be able to see me and what I'm working on. And then I sort of do just rough chop. I don't want to make them too small because they will burn. I don't want burned peppers and onions. So just rough chop. Throw those in there, and they just add a nice flavor. I'm going to do the same thing. I have a partial onion here. So we're going to cut off a wedge. Put that in there. Get that skin off. And again, wedge it up and divide it into its little slivers. Put that in the bowl. All right. So there, that is all of the work pretty much that we have to do. I'm going to move this out of our way, and boom, we are ready. Toss the olive oil and salt. Like I said, I probably use closer to a half a teaspoon of the kosher salt. And then what I'm going to do once I put these in the air fryer basket is I'm going to get that last quarter teaspoon or so and sprinkle it on top. You could use other seasonings. You could use Italian seasoning, Mediterranean season. You could put, some cayenne or some spicy chili powder, whatever you like. My family, when it comes to the roasted veggies, we just really like the basics. All right, so I have found, so in the oven, if you don't have an air fryer and you're watching this, I do this at 400 in the oven for about 10 to 12 minutes. I give a shake and then another 10 to 12 minutes. What I found works in my air fryer is I'm going to turn about 10 to 12 minutes total. So let's see if you guys can, we're going to go, whoa. There we go. All right, so I'm going to use the basket. I'm going to actually hit the start button because it preheats. So that's it. So I'm going to dump this in the basket part. Spread it all around. The more you can spread it, the more everything's going to get exposed to that heat and get nice and cooked. And then we're going to take that last little bit of salt, sprinkle that everywhere. Oops, sorry. And shut the door. Okay, so there we go. We are done. I haven't used parchment paper yet. I'm trying to think if I use it for the veggies. I don't. I put them right on the basket. I'm trying to decide. So my air fryer, I'll show you what it also, can I touch this? Has one of these little trays. This is what I'm going to do the next recipe in. And I have not yet put parchment paper on this. I haven't found the need. I feel like it sort of cleans up pretty well. So yes, you can totally, oh, you know what? I've never cooked in a convection oven. But my guess, since these little mini toaster oven air fryers are basically supposed to be like mini convection, then yes, this would probably still work for a convection oven. This one it's the Ninja Foodie Flip is what it is. Like I said, it's supposed to flip up for storage, but to me, that's just a pain, so I don't do it. I did a lot of research too. I asked a bunch of people. I went on Google and various websites and read reviews on Amazon and Target and everything. And I got to say, I'm happy with my choice. Just a little side note on air fryers. A friend of mine got one. She got the Breville, and it's much taller than mine. So mine is like toaster oven size. Hers is like the big jobber, and almost like it looks like a mini oven, like it's square. And I was really leaning towards one that looked like that because I thought, well, what if I want to cook something tall? But then I realized, you know what? I would rather have the space not take up so much more space on the counter. I still have an oven. So if I want to cook something tall, like a roasted chicken, I'll just use the oven. But I have found, and today I'm going to do this, I can cook on both layers at the same time. So I have made, I think on the bottom, I made homemade burgers. And then on the top basket, I cooked homemade fries at the same time. So yeah, you do not need to preheat it. For some items, recipes, it does say to preheat. Like if I want to use that bottom tray that I just pulled out and was cold, if I wanted to use that, it's called a sear plate. If I really wanted it to sear the meat, they say to preheat that. But otherwise, it just heats up really, really quickly. So I haven't been preheating other than that. So yeah, I was able. It was warm, but it wasn't hot. Okay, so there's my. I'm glad I just bought one because I feel like I'm so much more knowledgeable than if I had one for years because I'm more into just did all the research phase. All right, so the next thing we are going to make while those are cooking, we're going to check those out. We are going to make something called flautas. You could also call them taquitos, but basically it's going to be like a black bean cheese filled tortilla thing. The difference from what I have found between a taquito and a flauta is flautas, and I don't know if I'm pronouncing that one right, use flour tortillas and taquitos use corn tortillas. So you could use either one if you prefer corn or if you are gluten-free and need to do the corn, go ahead and use the corn. I personally, black bean and cheese, how can you go wrong? I personally like the flour tortillas a little better only because they don't crack as much when you roll them up. If you're going to use the corn, I would say try to brush the tortillas with some oil before you do this part. And I will honestly say I always use whole wheat tortillas, but thanks to, world shortages right now, the last 2 trips to the grocery store, I had to get the white flour tortillas. So just a little side note there. So I did the first step ahead of time, and I'm going to tell you what it was. Again, it's basically I made like a bean dip. So I took black beans, and if you don't like black beans, you could use like red beans or whatever. I definitely recommend either the low sodium or the no added salt because unlike every single other recipe that I make with black beans, I did not rinse and drain them. I needed the liquid to go into this. So here's what I've got. Oh man, that's ugly in a picture, isn't it? It doesn't even show up. There we go. I needed that liquid to cook down. So this is a can of unrinsed low sodium black beans. To this, I added, I had diced up a little bit of onion and 1 garlic clove, and I put that in here, and a pinch of cayenne pepper is all that's in here. You could, again, season it up however you like. I cooked that, brought it to a boil, and let it simmer for a few minutes and just sort of till all that flavoring got cooked through. And it's been sitting here cooling for a few minutes. So now what we're going to do is we are going to take this bean stuff and I'm going to pop it into my, I really like Ninja. This is my little Ninja food processor. All right. Just get this out of the way. And along with that, we are going to add 4 ounces of reduced fat cream cheese that I have had softening out all morning. This is the one cheese that I like using low fat. I usually, and you'll see when I get to the shredded cheese, I'm all about the full fat. I just think it tastes and the texture is better. And I tend to use a little bit less than recipes call for to make up the difference. But I think that for me, I'm not a huge cream cheese fan. So if I cook with it, I'm fine using the low fat. All right, so we'll get that out of our way. And then we're going to, we'll toss this in here. About a cup of, I am using the Mexican sort of 4 cheese blend here. And we're basically making a bean dip and we're just gonna fill our tortillas with it. I'm using half an 8-ounce package. Almost half. All right. So now we put the lid on. I got cheese on my nose. There's my towel. All right. And I can turn I've got a little light on over here so I can check these out. And they're looking good. And I just thought of this the last time I did a cooking demo. I'm going to mute myself for a minute here so you don't hear this. I don't know why I never thought of that before. But this is just all those ingredients. So let me mute me. There we go. Super easy. And you could obviously make this recipe for more or less people. Just add, second can of beans. So it's a much different color now. Where did I had a spatula. Oh, I put it in the pot, didn't I? All right. And just because I do this with all things Mexican, I am going to stir in a can of corn. Get this out of my way. Just because I feel it boosts the fiber, it adds a veggie, and it goes so well. So this is just a can of corn that I did drain. All right, and now I have got my filling. All right, yummy, yummy, yummy. And again, now most of the work is done. So now all we're gonna do, excuse me, I keep itching my nose because I feel like I have cheese on it, is I'm gonna grab a few tortillas. I'm gonna give these a shake, just like I would in the oven. They are looking good. And at this point, so they've been in there for about, I think I set it for 10, I think I set it for 11 minutes. So they've been in there for about 6.5 minutes. I'm doing my math right. And now we just fill our little, what are these called? Tortillas. All right. And then we're going to either brush or spray them. All right. So what I like to do is sort of make like a tube down the bottom here. I don't want there to be so much that it gushes out, but I want it to be enough that, you get a taste. And then we're just gonna, I always roll it over. So I roll it halfway over and sort of smush it in. And then I roll it up like that. And there we go, there's number one. So before I put that in the fryer, I've got two options here. I can spray it with oil. So if you have a mister, or if you don't, you can give it a little brush, whichever you have. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get a couple of these going, and I'm gonna, you know what I actually wanna do? While our beans are still cooking, I'm gonna put number one in here so that you can see it. So it's, because I don't want it to not be done. So I'm gonna put it in here. And I'm gonna, let me do my math here. This is gonna cook for about 7 to 8 minutes. Then we're gonna flip it and cook it like 2 to 3 more minutes. So when my beans are done, I'm gonna add another 6 minutes onto that. And that's it. Do you think an oil mister works just as well as nonstick spray on a pan? So I have plenty of nonstick sprays. And I guess in this case, that would probably work fine. But I have found, and just in, reading about care of different cookwares and things like that, and in my personal experience, a lot of the nonstick sprays tend to leave like a sticky residue on pans. And I'm not crazy about that. So I try whenever possible. And I got to say, sometimes when I've tried it, the sprays to make something brown, like in this case, what we're doing, is they don't seem to work as well as an oil. Maybe I'm not putting enough on. I don't know. That could certainly be the case. But I don't think there's a problem with you using the nonstick spray. That's just why I sort of have the misters and the brush. All right, and that's, I mean, this is basically what we're doing. So we've got number 1 in there cooking. So this is going to make a fair, can you guys see how much I have? This is going to make a fair amount of flautas, especially since we're trying not to overfilm them. Bill, can you say it? All right, so beans are saying they're done. So I'm going to take the tray out and give them a look. Oh, all right. To me, they look done. They're a little sort of shrivelly, got some brown parts in some. So I think for me, this is done. So what I'm going to do is I just have a little plate to set them on over here. I am going to add that 6 minutes to my, there we go, and start it to that. So again, that's done. I would do the same for cauliflower. I would do the same for broccoli, anything I would roast. If you were an asparagus fan, you could do that with asparagus. But yeah, I mean, it's, again, I like the idea. My whole kitchen is not 400 degrees because I have the oven on to 400. So I really like that option. And you could either serve, so my kids are, today was my kids' last day of finals. They're both in high school, so they're both now home for summer. So this is going to be our lunch today. But this could be, you could cut these in half and they could be a cute little appetizer. Lots you could do with these. Like I said, they could certainly be a meal. But what do you guys think? So who's got an air fryer and who doesn't have an air fryer yet? And if you have an air fryer, tell me what your favorite things to do in the air fryer are, because as well as some of our viewers here, I'm looking for more ideas. I'm trying to think of what the most interesting thing I've done. I did have some frozen, you're on your third, chicken wings. I haven't done chicken wings yet, but I've heard they're very good. I did make buffalo cauliflower the other day, so that came out good. What else? Oh, I had frozen cookie dough, and I just, for the heck of it, I'm like, I'm going to make one cookie. And not that I couldn't make one cookie in the oven, but it was just so cool to just decide and say, I'm going to have one cookie. And I pretty much put it in there. And, 12 minutes later, I had a cookie. So for me, it's more of, and to be honest with you, okay, let's see, lots of veggies. Yep, that's good. You have the potato chips. Not so you make homemade potato chips. You slice them thin. That sounds fun. I like that idea. I'm gonna have to try that one. I haven't found. Oh, okay, hold on. Chicken wings, frozen French fries. Yeah, we did the. No, I've not done frozen French fries, but I did do frozen tater tots. And yeah, they came out crispy. I have to say, from everything I read about the air fryer, like some people think it is like the next thing, best thing since sliced bread. I haven't necessarily found that my air fryer makes things tremendously better than my oven does. Like I feel like a lot of people are like, oh my God, it makes the best this ever in the world. But for me, it's more of a convenience. I can use 2 ovens now. I don't heat up the kitchen. I don't have the preheat time. So I really like that. Potato chips to make Irish nachos. That sounds good. Chicken thighs with skin on. All right. I have to say, the salmon turned out very well. I was impressed by the salmon. And my family loves salmon. I prefer whitefish. So I did both whitefish and salmon that meal. And it was delicious. Like I said, I think the burgers came, I made meatballs. The meatballs came out very good. So I'm hoping my love of it does not wear off after after we're used to having it, but I don't think so. I find it helpful enough to make, again, just as a sheer convenience. Do you know if the videos will be available later to watch them? I think so. They're recording these, so I'm not sure where. If anyone is on who can tell me how to watch the videos or tell somebody how to watch the videos, that would be awesome. But like I said, I know they're recording them. I'm just not sure how to access them. So there are videos. No, we've got a lot more filling. Okay. So our first taquito, I'm using the brusher and the sprayer just because I've got them both here. All right, I'm gonna, oh, all right. So let me get a plate here. I don't even know that we have to flip this. This is looking good, just the way it is. All right, so this actually cooked, I told you to cook it like, what did I say? I wrote it down here. 7 to 9 minutes, and then flip it for a couple more. Okay, did you see in the chat, there's there's how to watch it. There we go. Some of my filling came out. All right, I'm going to turn this off just so I don't burn anything. But look. So anyways, I was going to say, this cooked like 5 or 6 minutes. So this, I think this looks delicious. It's crispy. The filling is all sort of gooey with that cheese in there. And this is, doesn't it look really, really good? So like I'm going to pop the rest of these in the oven when we get off, but I just wanted to make sure you saw this. So we've got, so just like that. Yeah, I know. Wouldn't this be awesome for the Super Bowl? And the cool thing, well, so here's our roasted veggies. Still, I'm going to try one just to make sure they are as young. Oh, yeah, they're good. You know what? I'm going to give them a minute or two longer. But I like my veggies a little softer. I do pretty much anything other than boiled dinner. Oh, see, and somebody else. Pork loin in there. Yep, I did a pork loin. That came out delicious. Oh, I think I did pork medallions. I sliced it up. Oh, that's what you marinate and cut it in 3 pieces. Yep, that's great. I don't know. So cool thing about these for Super Bowl or anything else, get this all prepped, pop it in the fridge, and then when you're ready to cook it, it's my hair. That's what's in my face. They're all ready to go. Everything's washed up. You just cook these and serve them hot. So that is delicious. So I'm saying air fryer 101 was a success. And we got some fun ideas for things that we could cook. Now I'm trying to remember what, oh, those Irish nachos, yeah. What else? I'm trying to think if I've done anything else in here. We make it, of course, I've made toast in it now. Not that that's a big deal. I'm looking at the different settings. So anyway, for whoever who was looking for an air fryer, this one has sear crisp, rapid bake, frozen pizza, fresh pizza. We've not yet done a fresh pizza. I'm dying. We make pizza every Saturday night, but I only make 2 crusts. And so I would need to make more crusts, and I haven't figured out how to, yeast dough. I don't want to just multiply it a little bit, but I would love to make a little mini pizza in there. It has a dehydrate setting, a reheat setting, bake, broil, toast, and bagel. So, but that's it. Do you guys have any questions about anything? Oh, hold on. It looks like I see a hands up, but I don't know how to get to it. Reheat a sub sandwich. Nice. Let's see. No, I don't know. All right. So now my kids have lunch, and I think we are having roasted green beans with our dinner tonight. So that is it. Like I said, if you guys want to share anything else, or if anybody has any questions, pop them in now. And that would be great. We have used it to reheat up things, so that was nice too, because there's a lot of things I like to reheat in the oven versus the microwave. And so now, again, you don't have to wait, I got to heat that up, so you got to wait for the oven to heat up. No, you just pop it in and reheat it. So it's convenient for that. All right, it doesn't seem like there's any other questions. So I am going to let you guys go. Have a great rest of your afternoon. Yeah, I got to get these a cooking. So I will talk to you guys later. Bye-bye. Thanks again for joining me.